All right, welcome back to the podcast. This is In Series, an Emory production, a podcast where I decide to nerd out about something for a handful of episodes. And in this case, it is Edinburgh edition. We are here at the 2026 Edinburgh Festival Fringe, and we are building our dance card as we go. We're adding shows, we're moving shows, adjusting shows, and we are trying to get a good mix of things, not just our theaters, our aggressive passion, but there's a lot of comedy here. And so we're gonna have a chat about one. Most of this has to do with these titles. These titles stick out for you and you go, all right, let me check that out. And sometimes that's the entry point. So great job on the titles. Yes, what we're going to talk about is a production called Will and Noah, Dinner, Chicken Winner. So if you can't tell by that, it's a comedy. And I'm here with Noah and Will. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So tell me, are you strangers to Fringe, or is this not your first time?
We've done the Fringe, many times. I think starting in 2017, I think, basically on and off every year since then. Like we met at university and we did a lot of comedy, like particularly sketch comedy, which is what this show is. Started doing like comedy plays and student plays, and we've basically done like pretty much every venue. I think every venue chain we've now performed at over that time in about 10 years, apart from one. Last one, we'll get you. We will find you. But yeah, we've just been doing it together for most of that time in various combinations. But then last year was the first time we did this double act, so this is our second hour-long show. And yeah, it's just nice vibe around us. Sorry, underbelly.
I know, everything is so close. Everything is so close. On my way over here, I made the turn to there's yeah. And that's another thing too. It's hard to say like it's Edinburgh Fringe, but I couldn't find it in the Fringe guide. And it's like, well, it might be part of another one of the presenting groups that are still part of Fringe, and so it ends up being a little tricky there.
Come for 10 years and still get confused and mixed up about everything, even the venue you're performing at.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me how you first got into sketch comedy.
I guess we just thought about. Well, I certainly just thought about giving it a go at university. There was a sketch comedy night for beginners where you could just basically apply with anything you've written and put it on stage. And we decided to apply for that together because we met at university, the same college, the same.
Yeah, we met before we started doing comedy together. So it was quite a nice thing. We kind of like went and did our first audition for the comedy group, the comedy night together. And actually that sketch that we did that first time, we ended up carrying on doing for like 7 or 8 years afterwards. But yeah, I think it's such there's a really good scene for it where we met at Cambridge. There's like massive like opportunities there for comedy. So yeah, we just like kind of got swept up in it all and just kind of fell in love with it. And then obviously like when you're at the Fringe, you see what everyone else is doing. Like you see all these incredible people just like making stuff happen. I think that's our favorite thing about the Fringe is you can just like make it happen yourself. Like we self-produce all of our shows and like don't have a big team around us. We just kind of like do everything. Yeah. Like, like write and perform it, but then also like produce it and market it and do all the like Will does the music for it. And we do all the like visuals and the tech and everything for the show. Yeah.
So did you have chemistry from the start, or was it something that you had to sort of figure out about each other?
Well, Will hated me, but I really liked Will. So I made it my mission.
And by year 5 of knowing each other, we just
eventually I cracked through that hard exterior that you see before you now. You'll get there. By the end of the interview, you will crack Will's hard exterior. We just kind of like got on,
The comedy I think we do comes from the sense of
like some
and like the things that we have a laugh about.
Yeah,
things we try to turn into sketches.
Yeah, we were studying classics, which is like ancient Rome and ancient Greece, and some interesting stuff, but some very dry topics. And we managed to find the humor in every single like topic that we were studying, many of which were utterly humorless. So I think that was a sign maybe that we could find humor in anything between us.
Is that like there was a lot of actually quite arguably funny stuff that we were being taught, but it was we're being taught by people who didn't find it funny. There's an hour-long lecture called The Great Drain, which is about the biggest drain in like Mesopotamia or something. Yeah. It was just like the Great Drain on.
And if you can find humor in the Great Drain, then you can find humor in anything.
I'll say that, we're looking back on history in hindsight, and so there is a lot of humor in it because once you get to this point and you're looking back and saying, I can't believe that happened that way
Yeah.
because we know so much more now. Things were happening in a space where the news would take forever to get to, and it may not have been as important.
Yeah, yeah.
And so you're like, that was happening over here like years ago.
Yeah.
And you just don't know. But now with technology, this conversation, if it works right, it goes out into the world.
And it'll be
like,
there
almost
forever.
immediately. Like, there it is. So an hour. Talk about the process of crafting an hour, because it's all comedy. So we're expecting punchline, punchline, punchline. And we expect belly laughs. We want to walk out like, I almost died twice,
Been to the show yet.
Expectations are super high. But talk about crafting an hour, and how do you know when you, of course, at the time frame, that you have it, but like, how do you start laying that foundation? Is it just a series of jokes that come through and they come together?
Kind of starts with like some sort of seed. It could be like the idea for what a show will look like, or in this case, it was one particular sketch that we really liked. And thought was really good, but it didn't fit into our show last year. So we're like, how can we do a show with that ceremony?
Like a kids football team, like
really
giving out like player of the season awards and stuff like that.
And that drew us onto the idea of awards in general.
Yeah.
And that was then the sort of framework for the show. Like, it's an awards show.
Yeah.
It's a show about awards. It's an award-winning show.
It's funny because our show last year, we did our official debut last year, and that was a bit of a Frankenstein of like material from over the years that we've done in other things, kind of put together into just a what I'd call a very classic sketch show, where there wasn't a huge amount of connection between any of the sketches, like stylistically or thematically, and there was no narrative. And actually, we realized in doing that we wanted our next show to have a bit more of a like connective tissue, a bit more of a, not necessarily a narrative through line, but like at the very least like a thematic through line. And that was when we hit on the awards and winning connection just as a theme, because I think a lot of the characters, and like you'll see this in the show, is like a lot of the characters are quite sad, and actually there's a lot of there's a sort of wholesome slice of life touch to some of these characters, where actually these types of like often quite meaningless trivial awards that we like make for ourselves, that we like give to each other and like pat each other on the back for, is like a nice way of like finding a sense of winning and victory in your own like everyday life, which might sometimes not be the happiest. So there's like there's a bit more, I think there's a bit more depth to some of these characters than we've been able to find in previous shows, where there's not that kind of theme uniting them. But we just thought as soon as we thought of that, we were just like, we just thought of like loads of different types of awards shows. So there's like a school graduation, Leavers Awards, there's like a knighting ceremony, it's the Oscars. So basically we've just like, the ideas flowed from that pretty much. And it actually ended up coming together, I'd say, quicker than our last show. Yes. Even though last show we kind of had a blank canvas. I think when you've got when you've got rules to what the show has to be, then it actually becomes a little bit easier to think of what could go in it.
Yeah, it's so interesting. There is this mindset that artists need complete open space to be creative, but sometimes the box.
Yeah, you need it.
Because it's like, okay, I'm only working in this space. So how do I bring things in here that make no sense? What's interesting about award shows is that, one, I am an award show producer, but also the acceptance speeches can change what you thought the night was going to be. Because if they use this as an opportunity to be a platform for something, it could bring everybody's spirits up. It could bring the house down.
Yeah, well, we just love that about awards nights in general, and whether it is like the Oscars or a kids sports team or whatever. Like, there's always that quality of like, it's very self-indulgent thing of like, it's very much for the people who are winning and like getting their moment to shine, and like they're actually pretty boring things to sit through and watch. Like even the Oscars, where we're all very invested in like our favorite film or whatever. Like everyone's watching the clock. Like everyone's like. Okay, when's this over now?
Like,
we don't need to hear from everyone. So actually, it's a really interesting thing. Like, there's such an interesting like human phenomenon there, like an awards show, and our need to like pat ourselves on the back and step up and say our thing. Like, there's not enough to just have done the thing. We need to be like recognized for the thing as well.
Are there elements of this production that didn't make it? Are there darlings that?
Yeah, we had loads of stuff. We did. There was an awards acceptance speech. We had quite a lot of material actually that went over the course of doing the show. We did a few other Fringe festivals in the run up to the Edinburgh Fringe, and like over the way, kind of like swapped bits out and cut bits, added new bits. We had
business awards.
there was like a business product of the year award, wasn't Avatar?
Sad to
as
see
part of the
go.
Oscars. Yeah, there was like a couple of songs that were like we felt were
Yes.
funny but didn't quite fit the theme. So
Yeah.
like actually quite a lot was shared along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, with this one.
And a few last minute additions.
So visiting the other Fringe festivals leading up, was that the plan? And if somebody is out here listening, does that make the most sense to maybe look at some smaller fringes where you can meet an audience with your work and then continue to build on it as you're reaching?
Yeah, I mean, we always find it very helpful for our process, I think, because it gives you like something to work towards. I think like having a slot at the Fringe is amazing, but also it's very easy to be like, oh, I've got all of July to like work on that. But in reality, July, you're like working on the practical elements of like actually getting it up there. And it's hard to be that creative in that immediate runner.
How long you have to prepare a show, it gets put together in the week.
Well, for us at least. But,
No, I think that's true.
It must be universal.
Well, we do the same thing when we're in tech. It feels like it's coming together, but it's also falling apart.
Yeah.
And then as we start previews, we start to get comfortable, and we realize the audience was always the missing piece.
Yeah.
We start to feel good about it by the time it opens.
Yeah, so those things are great. And actually, we did them a little bit earlier. We did a few more of them this year, and I think it really helped the show. And actually, the first one we did was, this is a reference to the show, so I won't spoil it too much, but there's we did like a Fringe festival of sketch comedy in North London, and we performed this show. It was the first full version of this show we did. And like, obviously we've said what the show's about in terms of like, you know, winning is maybe more nuanced than just trophies and awards, but actually we won that. We didn't realize it was a competition, that festival, and they gave us a trophy at the end of it, which we were like, okay, this has to go in the show. So we like, there's like a bit of like the irony as well of like, we've done this for ages, and like we kind of just do it to enjoy doing it. And then the first time we do a show about how it doesn't matter that, you know, we haven't been given a trophy for it, we just like doing it. One. And we get one. So it's like kind of reconciling those two things was just added to the, I think, the comedy of it. It's quite a funny thing to have.
You know, because there are so many award shows, even though it's self-congratulatory. Can you see any value in these award shows? Like, you're like, I totally get why they're doing this here. Do you think they have the power to reach who is not considered like the industry? Like, you know, the Oscars are the industry, and the fans are in a sense a part of the industry because they've seen the show. That you're going to tend to root for the show you saw.
It really depends on like the format of the awards. Like, a lot of awards shows, a lot of awards are based on sort of a campaign building up to it. And I think, I don't know if this is that polemic to say, but I think the Edinburgh Comedy Awards are definitely like that. But I think last year they pre-vet your show early on, and you have to have the right sort of stand. Maybe I'm just sort of
I think you can cut that out if we're nominated.
It's the behind the scenes part.
I think we're like, our show's as interested in like kind of everyday people's chance to win awards as it is in like big industry, you know. So like the Oscars in our show is like placed on an equal footing with like a, you know, end of school graduation, leavers, like yearbook awards, and like a kids sports team awards. So like, I think it's actually those awards that to me have a bit more meaning, because it's everyday people's way of like recognizing each other. I think those are a bit more democratic, those types of things. Like industry awards are kind of just part of the entertainment rather than a separate thing. Like, you know, the Oscars is like as much about just like watching the films and observing Hollywood and gossip and celebrity culture and stuff as it is about really like recognizing the achievement of a particular film. Because you can watch a film that's nowhere near the Oscars and like absolutely love it, and I think most people do that. But yeah, I think when it comes to like recognizing each other, like there's a sense of like community to it, and like just a bit more of a human touch, I guess.
Bigger and more important the award, the more we make fun of it in the show.
Yeah, exactly.
So in this process, can you think of a everyday basic award that you would love to be the winner of?
Like when we could invent.
Like it's your life to a T. If there was an award process for this.
I'd go for the lottery. No, I think I don't know. It's nice to be like to be on the receiving end of those kind of like slightly more human things. So I always think that it's nice to be recognized and respected for something you've created. So like, I think both love to win some kind of award for our comedy and, our show, our writing, that sort of thing. But then equally, it's just nice to be recognized in some other forum of like, I play for like a football team and I received underrated player. yeah. Which is basically like, you're not very good, but it's nice to like give you
people
something.
Think you're awful.
Yeah, it's like people think you're actually slightly better than people think you are. So, but like
that's actually
quite meaningful. Yeah, it's quite actually it's a bit more meaningful to me.
Yeah.
Like if I'd won like best player, I would have known that was bullshit. So it's actually quite nice. It's quite nice to get those kind of like slightly more like recognition based awards, or like there's like the British Lover pub quiz or like trivia night, and there's often a prize for the team that comes second to last.
Yes.
Which is really nice because that's like, it's not telling you you're really shit, but it's also like you weren't the best, but it's nice to like recognize that you were here and you did something. And
it was so close.
They went like a packet of crisps or a drink or something. It's quite nice. I like.
It was almost a tie.
You were here. And you weren't the worst, but you also weren't the best.
Yeah.
Those are the best awards. Middle of the road award. That's what I'd want to win.
How do they prepare themselves for this show?
I think we always just want to put them at ease. And like, ultimately, we've spoken about maybe like the grand human themes in the show, but it's just a very silly show. Like we just muck about. We hope that our commitment to the silliness just translates to the audience and they know that they can just relax and have a bit of a laugh and a good time. I think the first sketch, we deliberately start on something a bit slower to sort of like warm them up and intrigue them. But then from that point, we're sort of hitting everyone with just quite joke heavy, fast paced, like silly comedy. And we do a few bits with the audience as well, like chatting to the audience in character at a few points. And we just want to make them feel like they can just relax and have a good time.
Yeah. So with like each sketch, I would say, I kind of want the audience to be feeling like, what are they going to do with this one? How's this one going to end?
Yeah, because the settings are like, like what we've said, that they came to us quite quickly of like different types of awards. So I think the fun of it, I think, comes in how we twist those and surprise the audience. There's a couple of points where we just suddenly start singing and the audience are like, oh my God, what's going on here? There's a few other points where we like, we just try and kind of twist it up as much as possible and keep them second guessing. But yeah, there's a lot of shows at the Fringe, and like I don't know whether you've like mostly been looking at comedy, but there's a lot of very serious shows at the Fringe where you have to like really be focused and thinking about what's going on. And I think we like to pitch it to people when we give out flyers. It's just a show where you can just bring in a drink and not have to think that much. Just sit back and enjoy it.
Great. Well,
so hopefully you find the same thing.
Yes. So we're looking forward to it. We'll have a beer in hand.
Yeah.
As we have a seat. It's dinner, chicken winner. Will and Noah, dinner, chicken winner. It's here at Underbelly at the Weeco.
The Weeco.
Weeco.
Scottish cow.
Weeco. Yeah.
Small Scottish cow.
So if you're looking for fun and you're still here or you're making your way here, come see dinner, chicken winner. After Edinburgh Festival Fringe, what's next for dinner, chicken winner?
Yeah, we might. So often when we do like other festivals, it's in the run up to Edinburgh, so it's a bit more work in progress. But actually, we really like the show, and we probably want to do it at some more festivals next year. So we'll do some in London, which is where we both live, and then we'll do some other Fringe festivals. I think just around the UK. Just apply to a few others and take it on a little bit now that it's like a finished thing.
Cool, great.
And yeah, we're both working other shows as well for next year. Like Will's doing a solo comedy show and I'm writing a play, so we're always at the Fringe doing something or other.
Nice. Well, we're connected on socials, and the next Fringe we turn up at, we'll be sure to touch base with you.
Nice.
Will, Noah, dinner, chicken winner.